Year celebration just a few weeks away, we wanted to get to know this year's finalists a little bit better. Recently, Channel 24 visited the classrooms of the teachers to learn a little bit more about their teaching philosophies, backgrounds, and outlooks on education. Our first stop is Sandy Creek High School. Keelan Seabolt, a former physicist, has come full circle, teaching in the classroom where he first developed his love for physics.
So I'd always had a really interest in math, and I'd always enjoyed math. My mom was the math coordinator for years and years in Fayette County. And it was when I had that physics class, but not just the physics class, it was Stephen Geis, who was the physics teacher. And he had a real passion for the subject. He was very funny, he enjoyed being in the classroom, and so he made me enjoy physics even more. And it was really, really odd that first day coming back and being in front of the classroom and looking and not recognizing where you were just at. But when you go back and get on the other side, you kind of remember what it was like to be over there. And so I always tell my students that you know, I know what it's like to be in your seat, literally. That seat right there, that's the seat I was in. So it was strange, especially for the first time. And it took a while to get used to that and to take that role on, especially when I felt I was trying to live up to the expectations of the physics teacher I had here, who was, you know, so wonderful and really got me on this path. But, you know, I feel like I'm doing him justice, I hope, and, you know, I'm glad to be back here. I'd rather be here helping the place that I got nurtured into to be here. I think the first one is patience. You've got to have a lot of patience. You know, a lot of my friends are very smart, very gifted at math and science, but they have one way of explaining something and that's it. And if someone doesn't understand it that way, they get really frustrated at them. They don't know how else to present it because they learned it that way and they thought everyone else should be able to as well. And you can't have that. You've got to have multiple ways of looking at one problem and understand that everyone is different, and that if you don't have different perspectives on one concept, it's going to be hard to reach everybody. You can't do it. I think when you talk about being a little intimidated by physics, is that it used to be so math intensive. And that is one possible way of doing it, is to make it so math oriented. But I think a lot of people don't see that there's so many connections to real life, and understanding these concepts and how we see it in our day-to-day lives can be so much more clear to the students and can help them build up to having that mathematical knowledge about it. And so I always try to think, every time I look at a new topic, where do we see this in their life? Where do I see this every day in their life? And sometimes it's a stretch, but you know, I can usually always find something, and it's building off from there. So they have something they're familiar with, something they're used to, and once they have that comfort with that part, then they're a lot more susceptible to accept anything else I do about the math portion, or believing that they can achieve this. And you know, we start slow. That's the whole thing. I don't feel like I have to rush through a lot. I feel like we can build slowly off these concepts and build their self-esteem towards a subject and show them, like I've said before, that that's not just for the people who are really good at math and at math or anything like that. It's for people who just can see the things going on around them and express it in terms of physics. I appreciate everything that everyone at this school has done for me, everyone at the county's done for me, my family, everything like that. It's really helped me get this far so quickly.
Next, we'll talk to Shelley Dowse of McIntosh High, a former biological engineer major who gave up her dreams of striking it rich for a more enriching career.
The staff here at McIntosh is phenomenal. I'm sure that is, it's evidenced by our scores, the contributions of our students, the awards, the accolades that they receive. I was just really very, very honored to have the honor of being top 3 in Fayette County. It was huge, and it was very humbling. I think you have to have an innate love for the subject matter that you teach, and also for kids, and to if you are giving that energy, they give it back, and so you can feed off of that. So it becomes much easier to be energetic if they are as well. So it just takes a little bit on your part, and then they give back. And first of all, I think that you have to have an incredible amount of patience. I notice, when I'm teaching in the classroom, if somebody doesn't get it right away, the kids get very impatient with each other. I think part of it is You have to be positive about the things that happen to you in your life, whether it's your career or your personal life or athletics, whatever it may be. I think you always have to have a positive outlook.
It hits that phenylethylamine and it hasn't gotten neutralized yet.
Well, I think if you have different modes of instruction, first of all, that works. But also you have to interject some personal flair into that. And we have to remember that even at the college level, kids' attention spans, research has shown we have about 20 minutes. And that's with a good college mind. So we're talking about 3 or 4 years younger. So probably you have about 15 minutes with those kids before they start drifting and thinking, what are they gonna do for dinner? You know, who are they gonna ask out, or who's gonna ask them to prom? Those kind of things. So you have to find something, even if it's just for a minute and a half, it pulls them back and it gets them back with you. In my 20 years of doing this, I have countless memories of students of all types of learners, all different types of cultures, and my job has just been, most days, it's just really very, very enjoyable. Very tiring, but very, very enjoyable and very fulfilling.
Our last stop is Fayette Middle. Amy Goomerson wanted to be the next Barbara Walters, but she felt like she was a wee bit too optimistic for journalism, so she decided to put her positive energy into teaching.
It's very humbling. I mean, really and truly, I'm in a building with some teachers who taught me, teachers who, when I go into their room to just see what's going on, I steal ideas from them all the time. You know, they leave copies on the copy machine. I'm like, ooh, this is a good one. You know, these are people that I admire. And for them to place me that high, it's the most humbling feeling ever, because, you know, I feel like I'm just one of them. You've got to be patient with the kids because they're not little adults. They don't act like adults. They don't think like adults. Sometimes they're just plain irrational. And so you've got to be patient with them and realize that there are times when you're going to have to be the adult. You are the adult. And they're going to say things they don't mean. They're going to say things that make you angry, that frustrate you, that hurt your feelings a little bit. You got to be the adult in the situation and be patient with the fact they're growing, they're learning their boundaries. And then you've got to be confident enough in yourself that they can pick up on your confidence. They know you know what you're doing, that you've got a firm handle on what's going on in the room behavior-wise, subject matter. You've got to portray confidence the minute they walk in so that they know they're in good hands too. A lot of times they're very reluctant to be drawn in. They don't want to be called on because they don't think they're going to know the answer. When they say an answer, they answer a question more like it's a question. When you say, you know, what is 8 to the second power, for instance, they'll hesitate. 64? And I tell them, say it like you mean it, because you're right. You know, you know more than you think you know. You've got a good brain between those ears. Let's use it. And then the ones that still are very reluctant, I try to put them with a partner. Because another student can sometimes be more approachable when they realize somebody else is having a hard time with this too. And I'll say, what do you two have as a question? Then it's not, what do you not know? It's, what do the two of you struggle with together? And then I encourage them to help me. You know, I find something that they are good at. And if they're not good at something math related, I find some task in the classroom they can do so that when they walk in, they have a certain level of comfort, whether it's helping me hand out materials or can you put all the laptop things away with me, so that they feel some ownership in that room and it's a comfortable place for them to be. Even if the subject matter is hard, we'll get past that. We'll get it done. To me, the biggest reward is the simplest thing. When I'm sitting there and I'm doing a problem on the board and we're talking about how to do it and we go through the steps and a child looks up and goes, oh, love it, love it. It's the best feeling ever. And there's times when I'll tell the kids when we're doing a lesson, I'll say, now if you'll stay with me, don't look away because you'll miss it. And I'll show them a step and I'll say, wait for it. Let it sink in. That is the coolest feeling when somebody says, oh, I didn't realize that was what you wanted me to do. I can do that. It's incredible.
So, who do you think the winner is? Stay tuned The big announcement is coming up soon. For Channel 24, I'm Melinda Berry Dreisbach. Thanks for watching.